Everybody, this is Paco Chierici, the creator and producer of Speed and Angels and the author of Lines of the Sky. I just want to share with you an experience I had recently, which was super meaningful to me. I think it's pretty exciting and it's a fun story to share. I have about 1,000 hours flying F5s. I flew them in the reserves for 10 years. And just last week, I had the opportunity to go back and not only get my type rating flying F5s, but also to jump in a plane and fly it once again. And bundled in with that was the chance to get a type rating in the Marchetti S.211 jet as well. So great opportunity. I was super psyched to do it and obviously followed through on that. It took place in San Diego. It was a very small crowd. It's a privately owned Canadian F5D, so a two-seat F5 made up north. And it had some, or has some, significant differences between it and the F5 and the American F5Es, Fs, and Ns that I've got so much time flying. The Marchetti was a totally new experience for me. I've flown it a few times before, but never really with the intention of becoming typed and certified in flying the jet. It was always kind of a joyride. So I've got a few hours in that prior to going down for this training. But anyway, like I said, the opportunity presented itself, and so I followed through. There was about 6 of us in the class, privately owned, both airplanes, and we went down to San Diego. We had about 2 days worth of intensive classroom refresher for me in the F5 and differences between the CE and the normal American-made F5s. And then the Marchetti, learning all the systems of the Marchetti in 2 like really super long days of just systems lectures and briefs and stuff. It's a newer airplane, so even though it's simpler than the F5, it's actually got some more sophisticated components on the interior, which makes it a little bit more challenging to learn, and also it was all new. So like I said, two straight days of classroom in the F5, going through that. Probably the biggest difference between the Canadian F5 and the F5 I'm used to flying is the HUD. I mean, it's got this incredible HUD. It's the same HUD and upfront display or upfront control that's in the Hornet, which I did not fly, so it was new to me. And it's great to see how you can become a HUD cripple in about 5 seconds. I mean, it's an amazing piece of machinery, gives you a tremendous amount of information and confidence when you're flying the airplane. The other big difference between the Canadian F5s and the US F5s are the tip tanks. We didn't have tip tanks. Not a huge deal there, but it does affect maneuverability, I felt, and probably top-end speed. The maneuvering devices on the wings, so the US F5s have thumb activated and on the ends automatically activated maneuvering devices that you basically can deploy at any time you're subsonic. So whenever you're fighting the airplane, you naturally pull back on the thumb switch when you're pulling back on the stick, and it has a huge advantage in terms of turn performance, degrees per second, even radius, and it'll make your loop or your turn radius change dramatically if you don't use them. It's insane. The Canadian F5s don't have those, and I noticed that difference as soon as I turned the plane and put some G on. You could feel the buffet, you could feel the energy bleeding off. The corner airspeed is like 425 knots, it's really fast. That's like F-16 speed, corner airspeed. And obviously dramatically bigger turn circle than F-16. And you can really feel it. And to do a loop, I think it takes almost 8,000 feet. So it's not a really great performing airplane like in the BFM arena compared to the F5Es and Ns. But man, it was great. It was great jumping in the airplane, starting it up, going through all the procedures. My hands, even after 13 years, my hands instinctively went to all the right spots in the cockpit. Everything felt normal. And it was just a joy to jump in and to light the engines up and taxi out, get airborne. It got airborne super quick. It's got almost the same engines as the American F5s. And it was a rush. It was just great. So I got to go up and do a training flight, get a sense of the airplane once again, do a bunch of precision maneuvering, aerobatics, instrument approaches, stall series, and all that kind of stuff. And then I got my check ride, obviously passed that, and I got my type rating. So that's cool for whatever may come in the future, maybe, and hopefully get an opportunity to fly F5s again. And then basically went through the same process with the Marchetti. It was a little bit quicker. Like I said, it's a simpler jet, so it was faster. Even though it's got more modern components on the inside. Significantly easier to fly, stalls at a much slower airspeed. It's a trainer plane after all, so it's meant to be flown by inexperienced pilots. But it's super fun. It's very nimble, better in the vertical aerobatics than the F5 because it's got a better wing that's designed more for that kind of activity. And just a really honest flying airplane. It was a joy to fly. Took a couple training flights in that, and then went and did my check ride. No problem in that. Same basic parameters for the check ride. So that was it. It was cool. It was great to do, and I'm really excited and thrilled to be back in the world of jet aviation, pointy nose jet aviation, not commercial jet aviation. So I think I've got some photos and some videos to share with you, and that'll be fun. I'd like to remind you all to sign up onto the website if you want to get updates on any stuff like this, or the updates on the new book, the sequel of Lines of the Sky, which is called The Dragon. I've already got the title and a fair chunk of the book already written. And to sign up for the updates, go to fightson.net/Paco, or if you want to go to Facebook, you're a Facebook user, just go to Paco Chierici Author on Facebook. I hope to see you again.